Welcome to my backyard, the beautiful Sonoran Desert, home of the U of A Wildcats. Bear down, baby. And today, I want to talk philosophy. I want to discover and explore some philosophical ideas. And specifically, I want to talk about the idea of free will. Now, I'm at the U of A right now, and I'm taking philosophy of religion class. And in this class, we're reading the book Free Will by Sam Harris. And in this book, he actually argues that free will is an illusion, that the place that you're in right now and all of the decisions that led up to this point, they were all predetermined. See, free will, when we think about it, it's like, okay, there's two choices. I can do this or I can do that. And then we use our discernment and our reason and our logic to make the best choice. And that gives us the experience of making a decision. So we say we have free will. But what Sam argues is that we don't actually understand the underlying mechanisms that led us to making those decisions. He's saying that it's due to a unseen chain of events in our neurological and biological bodies. And it has a lot to do with our genetics and past experiences. And to a certain extent, I agree with this. Have you ever seen the video of the moment of conception? Have you ever seen the video where the sperm fertilizes the egg and this little tiny flash of light happens? This is the moment that we are conceived, and we did not choose this moment. We did not choose to be brought here. We didn't choose who our parents were. We didn't choose what culture we grew up in, what values were or were not instilled within us. We didn't choose any of this. We were largely dependent on others to show us how to live and how to behave and how to act, and really just dependent on others for our experiences. And the this was all what built the foundation of who we are. In these early formidable years, when we're like 5 and 10 years old, our brains are very malleable and suggestible. And so all of this stuff that was outside of our control built this foundation, and then we moved forward with our lives, and that is kind of what dictated the rest of our lives, is these early conditions. And so I get it. I understand when he says that, maybe we're being run by our impulses or our emotions, or we we're being more reactive rather than responsive. But essentially what he's doing is he's calling us ants. Like, if you were to look at the earth from a pulled back, zoomed out view, say like you're an alien in a spaceship, right? And we look down at earth and we see humans. We see humans bustling to work, driving on highways and neatly formed lines, going to work to get resources, to get food. It's all for survival, right? We look like this giant colony, just worker ants moving along through our days. And you would look at that and you say, well, these people are not conscious. They're just being driven by their instinctual nature. He's essentially saying that we are autonomic beings. Yes, we have autonomic nervous systems, our heart beats without us making it beat. We build white blood cells, we breathe while we're asleep. Like, all of these things, we don't need to consciously do that. And he's calling us autonomic beings, and we're not autonomic beings. We are beings with choice. And so that's where I draw the line, because it really makes me think about the Kybalion. And have you ever heard of the principle of correspondence? This is this is a principle that says, as above, so below, as within, so without. So essentially, a tree has roots that reach down into the ground. And above the ground, it has branches that reach out, doing its thing, photosynthesis. And so it's below and above, they look the same. And humans, we have this inner world, this inner cosmos, this vast inner world. And on the outside of us, we look out into the sky and we see this vast outer cosmos, this vast outer world. And when we think about it, from what we understand, the universe happened with a big bang, right? This flash of light, kind of like that moment of conception when everything burst into being. There was chaos and light and heat. And over billions and billions of years, all of this matter kind of formed order. It went from chaos into order, and it formed these structures. It formed stars and planets and solar systems and galaxies and black holes. And then we arrived. And all of this from our objective standpoint could seem like it was just a natural process. And that's what we call it, a natural process where everything came into order. And so I could also see why Sam Harris would say that, because maybe humans are the same way. Maybe at the point of conception, we start to grow. And as we get older and our early years are very chaotic for a lot of us. We're kind of crazy. We're getting into stuff where we don't really know who we are. We're trying to figure it out. And so life gets chaotic. But as we get older, our personalities start to solidify and form, and we become certain things that we've been working on, and we start to consciously navigate our life. And this natural process of the Big Bang happening could be argued by some that this is all the intelligence of God. This is a divine will that is innate in all of us. But the formation of the human species in this otherwise unconscious universe is a form of consciousness, right? Maybe this 13 billion years that we say the universe has been around is the universe in its infancy or its adolescence, and it's starting to wake up. It's starting to gain consciousness of itself, and it's going to start to steer itself. We're going to be able to enforce our will over the planets and the stars and the galaxies at one point, maybe very distant in the future. But my real point is that enlightenment, awakening, coming to of consciousness, this is the counter to Sam's argument of determinism. Because as we wake up and as we become more conscious of who we are and where we are and what we've been through, we start to see how we are kind of puppeted by our emotions, how we give into our impulses a lot. We start to become aware of these, and once we start to become aware of these, we can observe them. And rather than being controlled by them, we can choose not to, like I said, just be puppeted around by them. And so I believe we do have free will. Maybe it's a bit of a compatibilist view where there are some things that are dictated, by genetics, predetermined. Like I can't choose to like peanut butter. It's something that I eat, and then my body tells me if it rejects it or accepts it. This is not something that I chose to do. So where's my free will in that? Well, my free will is in whether I choose to eat it. I can just eat it if I want, even though I don't like it. I didn't choose to like it or dislike it, but I can choose to eat it. Same with, sexual preference. It's like this is biologically dictated, right? You don't choose to be aroused by somebody. When you're around this person, you become aroused, and it's just a autonomic process, right? But then we choose to take the action or choose not to. And so I think this has a lot of implications on our lives, right? Because essentially, like, to me, determinism, that everything is predetermined, is largely irrelevant because we are humans who experience making choices. So, does it really truly impact our lives if everything is predetermined? And if it is, maybe that actually can give us a little bit more of a sense of peace and a little bit more freedom, knowing that, maybe we don't need to intervene within our lives as much as we think we do, because, when you feel like you have a sense of control over your life, sometimes we become neurotic. We try to control too much. And this is where we get a lot of resistance in our life, and that's where suffering comes from. So if we can allow ourselves to sit back in the seat of consciousness as the observer of our lives, the witness to everything, and almost watch ourselves move through this plane of existence without intervening, and allowing ourselves to unfold the way we're meant to be, this may be the path. This may be the path the mystics talk about, you know? And so I find this all very interesting, and I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it. I'd love to hear what your beliefs on this are. I hope I got your mind stirred up a little bit and you got you thinking. And I just I really enjoy doing these videos, and I hope you enjoy watching them. And if you do, please go ahead, give me a like and subscribe. And I'm going to be doing a lot more of these every week, and really just trying to explore life, explore awareness, meaning, becoming who we are supposed to be in this world. And so with that being said, it was a pleasure talking with you, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, peace.